This is the singer of Korn. I just want this to be on record. But fuck our education system. Fuck our education system. I think it makes people have low self-esteem and low worth. I think it teaches people to believe that they have to earn their worth as a human. It teaches people to seek external validation, to think that they need to pay people to go to college to get a piece of paper that's worth nothing. It teaches people to think that they have to work like unbelievably hard when they don't. It teaches people that to think that they have to like prove themselves and compete. It teaches people that they have to compete. I remember my math teacher giving us a random talk in class where he was like, you're gonna graduate with your graduating class, and every single one of those kids sitting around you is competing with you to get your job. And looking, like, when I was sitting there in my seat, I was like, oh my god, that's scary. I better shape up. I better get like straight A's. I better get like a 4-point bajillion O. And which is so stupid, because I used to try so fucking hard in high school, and even like for the first 3 years for sure, and part of my 4th year of college, I used to try so fucking hard to get good grades, and it doesn't even fucking matter. Your grades don't even matter. But they use it to make us compare ourselves to each other so that it lowers our self-esteem. For no reason! No, I know the reason. I theorize that the reason is just to lower people's like self-worth and make them not empowered, because empowered people in a society that wants you to stay down is a threat, especially women. Like, if you're an empowered woman, you're a fucking threat. So let's teach these women to like compete against each other, compete with their looks, compete with their whatever the fuck. No, fuck that patriarchy shit. Women need to build each other up. We need to empower each other. No more shit talking, gossiping, comparing fucking your face. Who cares? We can't really do much about what face we're born with, okay? And it doesn't even fucking matter. But we're talking about education. I think it's all a lie. I think it's like a scam. I really do. I think it's basically people profiting off of low self-esteem and low self-worth, and people that are taught and programmed for a whole lifetime that they have to like prove their worth as a human and work like tremendously hard and put in so much time, money, and effort to just even have worth as a human. There's so much that you can do that like the education system has nothing to fucking do with. It doesn't teach you about life. It doesn't teach you how to be happy. It doesn't teach you how to love. It doesn't teach you how to avoid abusive relationships. It doesn't teach you how to have fucking conversations with people. It doesn't teach you how to have good values, for the most part. It doesn't even, like, history classes don't even tell you the real shit that actually happened. It's all a fucking lie. It's a changing world. There's like no need anymore to go to college unless you want to be like a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or things that you obviously need a degree for. Like that, I get that. But anything else, it's like, don't waste your fucking money or time. Because all it is you sit in a room and a professor tells you that you have to work really hard and be miserable and work 12, 13-hour days and survive off of crackers, and then maybe you'll work your way up the ladder, and then maybe when you're 75 you can be retired and happy, and then it'll all be worth it. Trust me. I'm a perfect example. People always, when they give opinions or whatever, like, that are anti, like, education system, they always say, but don't listen to me, I don't want to convince anyone to drop out. Like, why is there such a stigma against dropouts and against people dropping out? Like, to me, the way I see it is, like, if you're a dropout, you have high self-esteem, high self-worth, and I fucking respect you. I want to be your friend. I mean, assuming that you're not, like, doing bad things and harm onto people, or as long as those things aren't happening, like, I want to be your friend. Like, you're cool as fuck, you have independent thought, you think for yourself, you don't just take what is dished to you and what is programmed, like, you question things, you think for yourself. Like, we should be looking up to these people. There should not be a negative stigma against them. Like, think of the world changers. You think the world changers were like goody two-shoes that followed everything all the time? Because they weren't. Just like, it's just a big fucking shit show for making you obedient. And that's another thing about disempowering you. Just to, like, more easily control the masses, you know? Fuck the comparisons. The reality is, I am not competing in any way, fucking shape, or form against any of the 400 people in my graduating high school class. I think only like 3 or 4 of them even remember who I was. And I mean, we've all spread to, like, different states and different things, and, like, it's so stupid to suggest that we're actually in any way, shape, or form in competition with each other. Like, that's such a scarcity, fear-based mindset. And I think they give us that for a reason. Because it's disempowering. If you're always in a fearful mindset, you're not empowered. No, I think us dropouts are the fucking coolest. We can actually think for ourselves. We can actually question things. And if anyone's gonna bring change, positive change and progress to the world, it's us. So don't ever feel bad about this. Like, wear it proud. I'm working on wearing it proud because, like, there's negative programming I received throughout my life that, like, if you're a dropout, and I'm a college dropout, by the way, 2-time college dropout, but I still kind of have to work against the programming that, oh, dropouts are lazy, dropouts are, like, mooches, or, I don't know, whatever. But what, like, really, if I got a degree and was working at a job, who does that, like, really benefit besides the company that I'm working for? It doesn't benefit me. It really doesn't benefit society, especially if the company's, like, not an ethical one or not bringing positivity to the world. It's all just programming. I refuse to, like, feel bad about being a dropout or any of that. I feel good about it. Like, I feel good that I finally made a decision that I wanted to make. Twice. But, like, the only reason I went back is kind of to, like, appease my mom, because my mom was not, like, as evolved as she is now, and she was still in that old programming of, like, oh, you're living in my house and you're doing nothing, you better go to school, because it's socially acceptable to say that your daughter's in school, or, like, for me to say that I'm in school. And really the only backlash in reality that I face, I shouldn't even say backlash, but the only, like, judgment or whatever, besides maybe my family that might be shit-talking me back home, but I don't give a fuck because they're all blocked, and, like, I don't care because happy people don't shit-talk others. But so I just wish nothing but happiness and healing for them. But the only possible, like, judgment that I could face, like, in my current reality is, like, when I get my roots bleached and my hairstyle list is like, oh, what are you doing right now? And, like, I tell her, oh, I stopped going to school, and then she's like, oh, wow, that's too bad. Like, who cares? Like, whatever. I'm not gonna be, like, sad or feel, like, bad about it, like, oh my god, my hairstylist judged me. Like, who cares? It doesn't fucking matter. My happiness, my day-to-day inner peace, and feeling like I'm in alignment with, like, my true dreams and goals that are in my actual heart, and my mental health, my emotional health. They don't care about that fucking shit in school and in college. They won't notice, especially in a big college. Like, I went to Colorado State for the first 3 years. A big college, unless maybe you have like a lot of friends or you're super involved, like I've never really been that way, but you could just like stop showing up to class one day and nobody will like notice or care. Like, they don't care about your well-being. They don't care about anything. It's just all like grades and like status. They, like, the education system does not care about students as human beings. They just see students as like something to make money off of. And I'm speaking that from experience. I've had a lot of very shitty, like, unjust things happen to me during the time that I was in college, where adults on campus and in the schools should have intervened, and certain things have happened that they have like known about and chosen to just not give a fuck and not do anything. They don't, I cannot respect institutions or entities that do not fucking care about human beings. That might be the biggest thing of it all. I decided that this was more of a pep talk for dropouts than it was like a rant on the education system. And I'm perfectly cool with that. I think that's more important and more needed anyway. But if you're a dropout or you're thinking of being a dropout, just make decisions from your heart, from your gut, from your intuition. Like, meditate, don't listen to anyone. Go by how it feels. I know that's just insane for someone to suggest, but try it out, honestly, because I'm just now trying that out as a like 22 and 23-year-old, and I wish I had done it all my life. I could have avoided a lot of problems and heartache if I would have gone and made decisions based on like how I feel. But yeah, stop listening to other people so much. Like, you know the answers. You know. And the other thing too, if you're creative or an artist of any kind, like, there's so many other places and ways that you can learn outside of a bullshit college or university. Like, you can have a mentor, you can have lessons, you can self-teach. There's just so many options. And you're a lot more likely to use the time and energy towards building, like, maybe your own business, your own craft, like honing in on your craft. And you're amazing. You're still completely 100% as worthy as a human as the day that you were born. Nothing has changed. There's nothing negative about being a dropout. Like, I love you. Just get to know yourself, listen to your heart, do some soul searching, figure it out, what it is that you want to do, and do it. And don't fucking listen to negativities, and don't fall into proving anyone wrong, because there's dangers in that. Because if you're into that proving someone wrong thing, like, first of all, if there's people you have to prove wrong, ask yourself why those people are even in your life. And secondly, ask yourself, would you still do the thing if no one witnessed? Or are you just doing it to appease other people? So, like, is the thing that you're doing to prove someone wrong even something that you, from within, actually want to do? And you can create and do fucking anything that you want. There's nothing stopping you besides your own self and your own mindset and your own allowance of negative programming. And it only takes a little bit of work to undo that and reprogram yourself more positively. It's really just we do what we believe we can do and what we believe we're worthy of. So you change that, you take care of your health, you put your well-being and how you feel above everything else, you're gonna be just fine. I promise. You're gonna be just fine. Because if you're in a position where you have access to education, you probably are never realistically going to be faced with a day where you don't have food, water, or shelter. And that's really all we need. Everything else just is a problem that we basically create. So don't create problems that don't exist. Just do what you want to do. Do what makes you passionate and happy. This is your life. If you don't direct it, someone else will. And don't just like go by default. And you're probably an incredible person. You probably have unique gifts and talents that could really help people, that could really help this world, and or even that could just really entertain and uplift. And that's so valuable, and that's not something that a bullshit ass education can teach or cause someone to have. So, pep talk.